Let's get on over to Tesla shares. Taking a look at ticker symbol TSLA. The shares are dipping this morning following the company's big Cybertruck event in Austin, Texas on Thursday afternoon. They showed the truck performing some stunts and even beating a 2023 Porsche 911 in a race. But where some may be hung up is the pricing. The entry-level all-wheel drive Cybertruck, it came in at about $61,000. That's more than it had specified the company had back in 2019, where they were shooting for this ballpark of about $40,000 here. A ton of things to really think about with this, and our viewers are taking a look at the Cybertruck prices. There are going to be different modes. Cyberbeast, that top mode that you're looking at there, and then the all-wheel drive, which interestingly, that's the one that has the best mileage range on it here. But at the end of the day, I think the pricing really caught a lot of people by surprise, considering that this wasn't necessarily going to be looked at, or at least it was tried to be given the appeal early on when they announced it in 2019 of what could potentially be mirroring perhaps an F-Series type purchase on the lower end, or at least mass market appeal for a truck in that same price range. This is not that. This is a luxury vehicle type of annexation that they've just slapped on this with that type of price tag in an environment that's already harder to finance some of these vehicles. And then additionally, you add on the fact that a lot of the hang-up and concern around people who are purchasing EVs continues to be the charging network, at least at this point in time. So as long as all of those things are answered for, and you do have people, the million of $100 deposits that were already put down, that then spend in and pay $250 now to just move forward with that delivery, just because there were only a handful that were actually able to drive off with their Cybertruck, then you could potentially see, all right, what the type of dent that this car is going to be able to put in the broader truck vehicle landscape going forward.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is the big question right now, just in terms of what exactly demand is going to look like. We had the prices up on the screen, and those were after the rebate. So when we talk about the fact that a lot of these pricing in terms of what we're seeing today versus what we had expected when Elon Musk first announced this Cybertruck, it costs about 50% more than what he was saying back in 2019. Yes, obviously, inflation, it costs a lot more to make a vehicle today than it did back in 2019, but not 50% more. So I think the pricing obviously coming in at the high end was a bit of a surprise to many analysts. We're seeing that reflected in the quick reaction notes here this morning. And I think because of that, the fact that pricing is so much higher right now, analysts are having a bit of a tougher time just trying to gauge what demand is actually going to look like. We talked about the fact that many people put down money, not a lot, what was it, $100 deposit
$100
for
deposit, yeah.
These Cybertrucks, about 1 million of them. That is what Elon Musk has said in the past. But Tom Narayan of RBC, a friend of the show who's been on with us a number of times in the past, is saying that he believes that the conversion rate on the over 1 million reservations is going to be at the low end, likely under 20%. So when you take that into account, how big of a driver this is really going to be then for Tesla, probably not so much in 2024. You mentioned the fact that that baseline Cybertruck isn't going to be available until 2025. It won't really have a bigger impact, or an impact, I should say, until probably 2025. That's the consensus, I think, from the street here this morning. But I think it's still too early to tell, just in terms of the impact that it's going to have on the bottom line and exactly what it means for Tesla in the long run.
You know, you guys have been saying I've been pessimistic all morning. So here's the sliver of optimism I'm going to give this. Remember back when GMC rolled out the Hummer to the mass market and said, we're going to make this available. It came at a hefty price tag as well. But weren't you surprised to see how many Hummers were rolling around on the road, this massive just wagon of an automobile that would be coming at you down the highway, hopefully not oncoming traffic, but at the end of the day, you would see them and just say, man, who is buying all of these things? I think similarly, as much as this thing is an eyesore when you look at it on face value and even through some of the flashy, sexy B-roll that we have rolling right now, I think there are still people that are out there that are going to say, you know what? I will finance this. I will figure out a way to pay this off over time. I don't know that they're going to pay for that Cyberbeast model, which actually gets up into the echelon of the GMC Hummer EV that our own executive editor, Brian Sozzi, was just talking with CEO over at GM, Mary Barra, about that vehicle and what they believe it could be to the market. But if we see that same type of fanfare or reaction, at least, to just the shock, the awe, and kind of just being aghast at what this could be for the future of automobiles, that's the sliver of optimism that I would give this, is that you could see some type of similar reaction or reception.
I like that. Back on the positivity train.
I'm trying.